Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, The Grim Reader. And I am back with a little explanation as to why I ran away from Vlogmas. And once I've done that, we'll get back into channel plans and 2026. It is shaping up to be a kind of fun and interesting year for me because of my retirement and travel and all that good stuff. So the reasons why I quit Vlogmas, it had been building for a while because it was sort of quasi for selfish reasons. So in the beginning, the accountability factor of getting up and getting ready and doing Vlogmas had been working quite well and was fun. And, you know, I was having a good time filming the kitties. But after a while, we have to admit that it does get a little repetitive, and the cats, you know, their lives are fairly boring. Let's face it. They do the same cute things all the time. And so that kind of lost its charm for a little bit. And then the main thing was that instead of becoming accountable, it became getting in the way of what is at the top of my priority list, which is reading, or at least making time to read. I am an extremely slow reader, but I do get a lot of enjoyment out of it, however few pages I get to. And so, but I do get easily distracted, as I'm sure we all do to a certain extent. So in a sense, the having to do a vlog was getting in the way of having more time to read. And so I figured, you know, it's not that big of a deal to have only done 17 days of it and to just let it go at that point. So that's what I did. And let's see. Yeah, I wrote here, I've never been able to read a lot while I'm vlogging. So there are YouTubers or booktubers who are really good at doing reading vlogs where they actually seem to get a lot of reading done, and they even have cute footage of themselves reading. And for me, it's always been like either or a little bit, which is a bit of a theme with me. I'm a bit of a do one thing at a time type person. And so whenever I'm kind of forced to do more than one, it doesn't work that well for me. It can help you face life. Yeah, I've already talked about that. The sort of, it gives you a job to do. And so you have to get ready for your job every day. And when you don't have any other jobs, it's a good thing. Let's see. I'm having issues, sorry to be tangential again. I'm having issue with my eyes. It's as if maybe it's a medication issue. They're not in focus as much as I would like them to be. Let's see. So in the time off, what I have been able to do is reflect deeply and sort of come up with plans as to how I want to move forward with my reading in a sort of more realistic way, and truly acknowledging the fact that for me, quality of reading time is much more important than quantity. And so what I've come up with is what in German we call a pensum, and I guess the translation of that is a set task or a quota. So I have a quota of how much I want to read. And the thing is, even if I don't exactly stick to it or make changes to my schedule in terms of my reading, it's good for me to have that. And so I can tell you what it is, just so for the Zola that I really need to finish, because I've been reading it for a long time. Now, this is an example of how slow I read, because, you know, I underline and take notes. I'm allowing myself, my quota is 10 pages a day, and I am almost at the end, so it still shouldn't take me much more than a week. And if I could read a little bit more than that, then I should be done with it soon. And it hasn't really bothered me that it's taken so long, because I do get this is probably the best Zola. The Conquest of the Plaisance is just, it's gotten more and more hysterical and sort of extreme in the way that this weird, creepy, misogynist, but also kind of interesting, despite that, priest is he's sort of full of contradictions, and he's the conquest of this town. Him and his hilarious and annoying family. his sister and the husband are sort of the comic relief, and they're very, what is it? They have greedy teeth or something. They're sort of Balzacian in their grabbiness and sort of their whole sense of self and being is about grabbing things. And she sews big pockets into her skirts so that she can grab stuff from the house that they've infiltrated. it's hysterical and fascinating, and I really am enjoying it. So that's the Zola, 10 pages a day, and it'll get me done. I'll keep on track with it at least. And you know, the minute you have, it works for me, I hope, is that I have a pensum or a quota, and I'll go above it and get done quicker. That's how things work for me in general. That's why I've sort of probably, you know, despite the fact that my career didn't really go exactly as planned, for me, staying in a structured environment of either giving a class or taking a class has been kind of to fit who I am as a person. And also because of me being kind of overly sensitive, I'm not really a corporate type person. I don't think I would ever have done well. I would have hated working at McKinsey. I remember once I was invited to oh, you just got a PhD, you're cool. Come to a dinner and see if you want to work for McKinsey. And I briefly thought about it. I'm like, no, I want to try and be a professor. But yeah, that's just me. So, but sort of structured and having, you know, a thing to do every day will become even more important in retirement. And it's fun. I like that. I like structure and things to do. So, and the other quota thing that has happened is well, actually I have some comments here that I think I'm evolving into someone who does best just reading one book after another, and the only doubling up I can do is having an audio and a physical book, and that's it, just one or the other. One thing I really want to try and do, because I have a bad tendency to buy books on Kindle that I want to have, and then I have such a hard time reading my Kindle because of my eyes. And well, that's kind of what I'm telling myself. So I kind of want, one of my goals for next year is to try and have maybe a Kindle book that I also have. See, there I don't know how to count the pages as easily. I guess percentage wise, you could do percentages, read a certain amount per day there too. The problem is I buy these really big hard books, literary books on Kindle. Like I bought Schattenfroh by the German dude Thomas, what's his name, which I think I would like, but I'd have to get into it. And then the other one I bought was Krasnok, I forget how to say his name, Laszlo Krasnokai, the Hungarian Nobel Prize winning author. I bought his one about the Bach novel, and they're on the Kindle. So, and I have other ones. I have Solenoid on there. So other big books that I don't know if I'll ever really read them on the Kindle, but it's just such a sort of practical thing for travel. So we'll see. Getting back to the other thing that in terms of the pensum is that my big two books, I'm reaching over and doing the reach over, apologize for face close up. So this one, Miss Macintosh, My Darling, and the only quota there is to make it manageable for both of these. The other one being the anti-fascist classic work. It is quite dogmatic. The people in here are communists, fairly dogmatic ones, and I do want to check about how he's a smart enough fellow to have not really fallen. I can't believe he would have fallen for the Stalin stuff as much as, I mean, a lot of people did, I know, even smart people. But anyway, but that's just something I have to think about. But it's still a brilliant, brilliant novel. He's just a good writer. I haven't quite figured out why, but he's just drawn me in completely. And so both of these big books, which couldn't be more different, the poetic sort of hallucinatory, this one, and then the sort of down to earth, but also kind of, it does have a sort of magical realist thing going on, whereby because it has a lot to do with memory and the status of memories and how people's memories shape their lives. And so what happens is he'll look at something in the quote unquote real world, and then suddenly an image or a memory will come out of that in an almost Proustian way. And that's probably one of the reasons why I love it, because I love that kind of stuff. And so it's like very real, it's a lot of realism, but then there's also this other side of it too, this psychological aspect that is fascinating. A page a day is what I'm aiming at here. And for these two, I may have to open the door because cats are scratching. Life with cats, it is known. So for these two, I have devoted notebooks, and so this is has to be the young one because she mentions peacocks. It's one of her words she comes back to, the most common being stars. There's so many mention of stars and the wind and snow and the beach stuff too, and birds, lots of bird stuff. She was into birds, but also the peacock. And so this is her notebook. And so I've only read a few pages because it's only a page a day, but if I usually read a few more, or at least 1.5, starting last Sunday. So what day was that? Before Christmas even, I guess I started this, yeah. So this is because it was instead of doing Vlogmas. So I hope you realize that this was sort of good work that I've done. So I already have about a page a day of notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages on about 7 pages of text that I'm taking notes on. And what I might do is, because her stuff especially has beautiful writing, beautiful quotes that tie into the themes of the novel. And so I could do videos on the little bit that I'm reading, sort of a close reading of a little catch up on Miss Mackintosh and what I'm getting out of the pages that I'm looking at. For both of them. For this one, I have a little bit less, but it's still been fascinating because it's a section where his father is talking about his involvement in the post-First World War upheavals in Germany, all over Germany. Revolution was perhaps breaking out a little bit, but not the same way as in Russia, because the other side came in. And there's this fascinating account of how angry all these communists were and are at the Social Democrats. So the ones who were actually sort of seemed to be okay with taking up power positions in the new Weimar Republic, and they were selling out their values according to these further left people. And the main sign of that was that they killed a lot of people, including people like Rosa Luxemburg, who was a leftist social democrat, not exactly a communist. It's sort of unclear, but definitely not as sort of pro status quo as some of the other social democrats. And there was a big uprising in Bremen, so not even in Berlin, where I'm already doing it, sorry. I'm already talking about what I'm reading. And it's just very, very fascinating, because it's also a history lesson to go back and read about, did I know about the revolution in Bremen and the fact that they had these worker council type things that they do? The setting up of councils for the new government is sort of a key indication of it being a socialist, quasi non whatever you want to call it, going towards a communist type situation in terms of the government. So that's gone quite well, and I'm actually pretty happy with that. It does mean that I have things to do every day, and I guess it's okay. I mean, it's a little bit stressful, but it's not really the same as just never doing it and like wondering when I'll get back to it, like when the mood strikes. The other thing that I'm also doing along with this in terms of my schedule is post-crossing. Every day I try and do one postcard. This one is going to someone in Taiwan because they requested that they, on their list of ones that they like, they say they like this type of card. Lu paper is the name of the brand, kind of these drawings of things. So they're getting a winter garden postcard because I have it. So post-crossing and reading is the name of the game. And the quota system includes my 2 never-ending reads. Yes, I've already talked about that. And so it does kind of make me wonder or ponder my goals on Goodreads. I know Goodreads is bad because it's connected to Amazon, but I don't even care that so much about that. It's more just like, as I say here, reading is not to complete books, but is a mental health practice that helps contribute to a meaningful and joyous existence. This is what I want to work on even more so in 2026. So the idea of even having a goal, I think I still want to have one just because it's fun. But I don't want to be beholden to it. And I'm trying to be completely okay with the fact that I've only read I'm only taking into my account for the year 26 books. I have read a few other novellas and shorter works of Kafka and Thomas Bernhard for the class, the independent study. So I'm almost at 30, I would say, but I'm not counting them in the countdown of my best. I'm only counting the 26. I mean, there's one audio I might finish soon, and I don't think I'll finish Zola before Wednesday, Thursday. I might, but I don't think so. And so that'll just be taken into next year's ranking. So my point is, yeah, the good read goal. I'll still have one, but I don't even know what I'll set it at. So I barely made my goal this year, which was 30. And I used to have, for a while, I thought 52 would be good because a book a week seemed feasible. But because I like to read so slowly and I like long works, I'm not even sure that that is feasible, even in retirement. And so I don't know. Maybe I'll just always have a basic goal of 30. 30 sounds good, or maybe 25. I don't know. 30 sounds good, just to have it. And if I go above, that's good. And if I go below, that's fine too. In terms of what is coming up next, the ranking, I rank all my books and I talk about them all since there's so few of them and I do remember them and I like kind of reassessing or rehashing how I felt about them all. There's 2 that I disliked, and then there's the 4 after that that I kind of liked, but not that much. And then the top from 20 to 11 I liked a lot. They're all ones that I liked. I gave most of them probably 4 or 5 stars. And then of course my top 10 is my top 10. So that's it. I have 26. The first 6 are 2 I did not like, 4 that I sort of was okay with, 10 that I liked quite a bit, and then the top 10 is the top 10. And I've ranked them all already. It's not it. This is kind of going along with picking a book that I want to read next. It's not that hard, although, and I think I have, for the first time ever, a quasi-TBR, at least for the next 2 things I'm going to read. I don't think that's going to change, but I don't need to tell you what they are right now. For one thing, it might change, although I don't think it will. I'm pretty set with these next 2. But I have been sort of thinking about being a little bit more intentional and picking my reads, not being a complete mood reader. And I also want to give space to reading around and dipping in, as I talked about. I've been reading my paper New Yorkers and deciding how funny I think the cartoons are, which is always delightful. Okay, so on camera I'm going to open the door. I'm thinking it's probably Lily. She's the most don't you dare close the door on me. It could be Shirley, but I'm pretty sure it's Lily. So let's have a look. Let's go open the door. Why don't we? Let's see. Who is it? Yeah, it's Lily. Of course, it's Lily. See, how dare you? How dare you open? How dare you? How dare you? Oh, I know. We're here. I knew it was Lily. She's the one who you cannot have a closed door with Lily. She's very like, how dare you? How dare you? She says, how dare you? We've all been doing well. We had a really nice Christmas. It was very relaxing. And I talked in terms of what's going to happen in terms of travel. There's 2 family events that I can't really say much about. I don't know if I have permission to. But it's going to involve, first off, me and Bill going to Germany for quite a while. But then I'm actually going to go back to Germany on my own a couple of weeks later. And I don't care because, you know what, I'm retired and I can do that. And I think it'll be okay money-wise. I keep thinking, you can't take it with you. So, oh, here comes another kitty. They're all coming. So 2 trips to Germany, the same area always. And probably not just to sort of hang out and be in Germany, be in Wiesbaden. That's my town. And I was sort of vaguely planning a trip to London on my own to go to bookstores and go to museums that I didn't get to last time. But that might wait till next year, we'll see. And first I do have to get that last semester under my belt. So I still have to go back to work for a couple of months in the first half of the year. I hope everyone's doing well, and I hope this was somewhat entertaining. And I hope it's understandable why I do what I do. I always wonder or grapple with, does it make sense? I was having a discussion with my husband once, and he said, these pretzels of thoughts, like your thoughts are like, you get so entwined and knotty, and it becomes a pretzel. He says, pretzel thinking. And it's true that I do kind of, I do make things more difficult sometimes, but as the Germans say, why do things the simple way when you can do them the complicated way? And that is a little saying that I take to heart, perhaps sometimes a bit too much. I will talk to you soon, probably with the countdown. to my #1 book of the year, which I kind of know what it was. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Bye. Thanks all for watching and hanging in there with me. Bye.